Good morning. It says I'm live. I sure am. I overslept. So I have a little gravelly voice. Also, a dear family friend of ours passed early this morning while I was asleep. So texts are coming in about that. Let me get my material up here. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for April 28th. April 28th is the 118th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 119th in leap years, with 247 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is palladium. Palladium is a noun, and it has a couple of meanings. One is a rare silvery white metal. That's what I was familiar with. But it has another definition that means a safeguard. For the meaning of safeguard, the word is named after Athena, also known as Pallas Athena, Pallas, Athena, a goddess in Greek mythology. That's lowercase g. She was the daughter of Zeus and was born fully grown right out of his head. Palladium was a statue of Athena that was believed to protect Troy. Earliest documented use of the word palladium in this use is sometime before 1393. For the second meaning of the word palladium, as I guess in the order I gave them, it's the first definition, but for the meaning of the word palladium as a rare silvery white metal, palladium was discovered by chemist and physicist William Hyde Wollaston, 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 in 1803. He named it after the asteroid Pallas, which had been discovered the year before. The asteroid was named after Pallas Athena. Earliest documented use of the word palladium in that context is 1803. Now, let me just check something right quick. There. Okay. Wow, you guys. 506 subscribers this morning. There were 504 when I went to bed last night. So we're just zooming right up into space there. 506 subscribers. That's huge for me. So I have an idea for a special video that will be in addition to these Day in History videos, not instead of. So I kind of have that in the works, and I'll let you know as soon as it's out. All righty, moving forward, let's take a moment to mention that links to my sources will be included in the show notes. Since I overslept, I had to hurry and just get a little brief description in there, but I'll put those links in the show notes. Ask you to go ahead and click that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and thank you so much for everyone who has. Remember that you can share this video with others with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. And with that, we're going to start on April 28, 1788, when Maryland became the 7th state to ratify the United States Constitution. Pardon me. All right, let's see here. April 28, 1789, mutiny on the Bounty. Lieutenant William Bligh and 18 sailors were set adrift and the rebel crew returned to Tahiti briefly and then set sail for Pitcairn Island. But why? Why did this happen? Well, now, Bounty was the name of the ship that left England in 1787 to go fetch breadfruit plants and bring them back. Breadfruit is in the mulberry and jackfruit family. The fruit are roasted, fried, or boiled and are reported to taste somewhat potato like or similar to fresh baked bread, hence the name. There are other things that can be done with breadfruit, but back to the story. The Bounty wasn't of the largest class of ships in the British Navy to begin with, and the great cabin, normally the captain's quarters, had been converted to a greenhouse with glazed windows, skylights, and a lined deck with drainage system to prevent wasting of fresh water. The plan was to put 1,000 potted breadfruit plants in this makeshift greenhouse. All these special arrangements contributed to an overcrowding situation that couldn't have been any kind of fun for the 46-member crew. Captain Bligh had stringent requirements about sanitation and diet, too, which probably made life on the Bounty interesting at least. He seems like he might have been a bit of a micromanager or maybe a control freak. Anyway, they hit some rough weather and that stalled their progress and wore everyone out. They took about a 5-week stop to make repairs and restore their provisions. Once they got underway again, they made their way to Tahiti. As the trip droned on, tensions, difficulties, and conflicts increased. They arrived in Tahiti and set about their work. The natives were friendly, including and perhaps especially the women. And of course, the crew loved that, but Captain Bligh did not. He became more demanding and punitive and punished his men for their deficiencies, real or imagined. By and by, the 1,000 trees had been collected, potted up, and taken to the ship, and soon it was time to leave. They'd been there somewhere around 5 months, and the men were sorry to leave Tahiti, but nowhere near mutinous. In the weeks following their departure, Captain Bligh's anger and intolerance increased, reaching paranoid proportions. He would blow up on his former favorite crewman, Fletcher Christian, for any reason or no reason, and then turn around and act as if nothing had happened. Things only got worse from there, and acting Lieutenant Fletcher Christian finally got a hatful of it. He'd had enough. And he seized control of the ship, put Captain Bligh and a few of those loyal to him in a smaller boat and cut them loose. There's your mutiny. Billy the Kid had been captured earlier in the month and spent the last 3 weeks in jail. And on April 28, 1881, Billy the Kid escaped from the Lincoln County Jail in Mesilla, New Mexico. I'm thinking that's probably how it's pronounced, Mesilla. Could be Mesilla, probably Mesilla. On April 28, 1945, Italian dictator Mussolini, Benito is his first name, Mussolini, Italian dictator Benito Mussolini and his mistress were assassinated by a member of the Italian Resistance Party. Now, we've mentioned Thor Heyerdahl before. Interesting character, Thor Heyerdahl. And on this day in history, April 28, 1947, he and 5 crewmates set out from Peru on a hand-built raft they named Kon-Tiki to demonstrate that Peruvian natives could have settled Polynesia. I'm wondering if maybe it wasn't the other way, but that wasn't the experiment. So anyway, on April 28, 1967, boxer Muhammad Ali went to his local induction center in Houston as ordered, but declined to step forward when they called his name. 3 times they called his name. 3 times he stood silent and still. An officer advised him that he was committing a felony by not stepping forward, but he still declined to step forward. Almost immediately, he was stripped of his boxing license and title by the New York State Athletic Commission, and other boxing commissions soon followed. He refused to be drafted into military service on the basis of his religious beliefs and his opposition to American involvement in the Vietnam War. Later in the year, just about 6 months later, not even six, later in the year, he was convicted of draft evasion. He was able to pay a bond and remain free while appealing his case, and eventually, in 1971, the U.S. Supreme Court overturned that conviction. Ooh, The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd hit #1 on the U.S. Billboard chart on April 28, 1973. Went on to enjoy a record breaking 741-week chart run. Considering that there are 52 weeks in a year, that's over 14 years. 14 years on the charts. That's remarkable. Chernobyl is in the news again today on April 28, 1986. High levels of radiation resulting from the Chernobyl disaster were detected at a nuclear power plant in Sweden, leading Soviet authorities to publicly announce the accident. Now, I may have spent a little too much time on the Mutiny story, so we might miss a few birthdays today, but I think that's going to do it for us today. As always, links to my sources will be included in the show notes after I process the live into a replay. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share if you found this interesting or informative. And again, I want to apologize for being just barely on time today, but by golly, we got here and we got it done. If you're the praying kind, I request your prayers for the family of my friend who passed away this morning. And just scrolling through here to see, is there anything else I need to tell you about? Oh, yes. And I'll be getting that video ready for the 500 subscriber celebration. Thank you guys so much. Y'all are awesome. I'm so excited. Over 500 subscribers. We jumped quite a bit overnight. That's amazing. All righty then. I think that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you tomorrow. Now we're going to look for the thank you very much button.